Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale and how to play those on each of the strings. So what I want you to focus on today is not so much memorization of the patterns, but the shapes that we're going to be using to play these scales. We're going to start in the key of E. We're going to start in the key of A, and we're going to go through all the strings and learn how to play the pentatonic on all 5 strings. So, I'll see you there. Okay, so the very first position we're going to look at is the E pentatonic shape. So, finding your root on the E string. In this case, we are in the key of A, so that is the 5th fret of the E string. And the pattern or shape we're going to play looks like this. Okay, so that is the E shape for the A pentatonic scale on the E string. Okay, so again, what that looks like is you're going to play 5, 8 with your pinky, 5, 7 on the A string, 5, 7 on the D string, 5, 7 on the G string, 5, 8 on the B, and again, 5, 8 on the high E, and then you work your way back down. Okay, and one thing I want you to pay attention to is that first skip that we do from 5 to 8 on the E string. You'll notice this skip every time we play a new position starting on the root. Okay, so just keep an eye out on that. So again, your E shape on the E string, E shape, root on the E string, is 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. Okay, now let's move to the A string. All right, guys, so we are going to move to the root pentatonic shape with the root on the A string this time. We're just going to go down the string. So first we learned the E, now we're going to learn A. And we're going to play the A shape on the 12th fret. You could also play it with an open A because this is its octave, okay? But we're going to learn it right here. So the pentatonic with the A string being your root, 12th fret, sounds like this. I added in a little extra flair climbing back up, but it starts. Okay, now what that looks like is you're going to play 12, 15 on the A, 12, 14 on the D, 12, 14 on the G. Then when you get to the B, you're going to play 13, 15. And then E is 12, 15. And if this is 12, 15 here on the high E, it's also 12, 15 on the low E. Okay, because they're both E. So, same pattern. Again. Back to our root. Okay, so again, that's going to be 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 13, 15, 12, 15, 15, 12, 15, 13, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, back to our root on the A string, okay? We always want to start on the root because that makes the scale easier to hear. You see how this sounds the same as, it's just an octave higher. There it is. So now we're going to learn the D string root. Okay? Okay, so far we've learned our E string root and its shape. And our A string. Now we're going to find our octave on the D string. Which would be right here. So we're actually going to skip the D string and we're going to actually go to the E string because this connects from the A string. Okay, so we're going to go back to D, but we're going to do the G right now. Then we'll go to D. So I misspoke. So we're going to learn the G string, baby. Okay, so the octave for the G string is on the 14th fret of the G string. Okay? And that position, or that pattern, the shape, looks like this. Okay, so what that looks like, again, if you notice, we're doing the same skip. We're doing the same skip 2, land on the 3rd. Okay, it's very common when you start on the root. So that's why I said to kind of pay attention to that because it's something you'll notice. Anyways, so the shape or the pattern we're gonna learn on the G string starts on the 14th fret and then goes to the 17th fret. Then you're gonna drop down to the B string and it's gonna be 15, 17, and then 15, 17 again on the high E. Just for reference, we played it in the A, and then just for reference in the E. See how it all sounds the same? Oops. Okay, now to go back up and finish the scale, you're gonna go 17, 15, 17, 15, 17, 14, 17, 14, 17, 15, 17, 15, back up to our root. All right, now let's go ahead and learn the D string. All right, guys, so now we're gonna learn the pentatonic shape on the D string. So the D string, we're gonna be on the 7th fret because that is our A, that is our root. Okay, and our pattern or our shape looks like this. All right, so let's go over that. So we're gonna start on the 7th on the D string, that's our root, and we're gonna go 7, 10 on the D, 7, 9 on the G, and then we're gonna go 8, 10 on the B. B is a little weird, and then 8, 10 again on the E. So we have and then back down. And then we're gonna do 10, 7 on the A, and then 10, 8 on the E. Back to our root, okay? So again, that's 7, 10, 7, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8, back to our root. Kind of messed up there at the end, but that is our pattern. Okay, now we are going to do the G string. Just kidding, we already learned the G string. Now we're going to do the B string. Okay, so our B string, A, is right here. Okay, so our shape looks like this. again. Okay, a little different, same notes, just in a different order. So what that shape looks like is we're gonna start on the 10th fret of the B string and go to 13 of the B string. And then we're gonna go 10, 12 on the E string. So we have 10, 13, 10, 12. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go 10, 13, 10, 12, and then back up. Once we get to our root, we're gonna go 12, 9 on the G, a little different. And then 12, 10 on the D, 12, 10 on the A, 12, 10 on the E. Back up to our root. Okay, so the tricky part here is going from this shape here to this one here. Okay, that one threw me for a long time and it took a lot of practice to get that. Okay, but what's easy for me and what helped me visualize all these scales is just realizing that that first skip is always the same. You're always skipping 2 frets and landing on the 3rd from your root. That's why it's so important that we like to start on our root. Okay, so again, the B string shape, weird transition. Back to our root. Okay guys, so we just went over a lot of stuff, okay? We went over all the shapes and patterns that I want you to learn for learning the A pentatonic on all the strings, all 5 positions, okay? Now I'm gonna show you how you can apply what we just learned to any key, making you a master and getting you started on your journey to fretboard fluency. Now, or fretboard freedom. This is something I still don't have, so don't feel like after this video you're gonna magically unlock a superpower and be able to just absolutely shred, but it will help you learn the fretboard, learn the notes, where they are, and how to play the pentatonic in any key. So I wanna show you how we apply what we just learned to a different key. I'm gonna choose B because it's right up from A. So let's zoom in. All right, so we just learned how to play the A pentatonic scale on all the strings. So what we're gonna do now, just so I can show you how to apply this, is we're gonna go up to the key of B, which is the 7th fret of the E, and we're gonna play the exact same shapes that we played across on the A position, but we're gonna play it in the key of B, okay? So starting on our root, we're gonna play the E shape. So that shape is the same for any key. So if you wanted to do C, okay, so see how we took the same shape that we did playing A? We just moved it up a whole step for B and a half step for C. Okay, now we find our root on the A string, which would be here, right? Because if this is A, that's A sharp, and that's B. So we're gonna play the A shape for B. Oops. again because that was a little sloppy. Okay, and then again for G, we're gonna just skip right to G. We're gonna go back to D, okay, but the G shape. Okay, that is B. And then let's go to D. So if this is A, right, then we know that the 9th fret on the D string is B. We can also find it by doing this little trick. Okay, so that position, or that, that shape looks like this. And now we do the B, which is right here, because that's the octave, or you can also play it open, but we're gonna play the octave. Okay, and that is all of the shapes in a different key. And just like that, now you know how to play the pentatonic in any position, in any key, across any string, starting on your root. The more you practice this, the better you're gonna get. You will learn the notes of the scale, and you'll learn the notes across the fretboard practicing this. This is something that helped me a lot, so I'm hoping I can pass my knowledge off to you guys. Again, if you like this video, drop me a thumbs up, leave some comments, subscribe to the channel if you want to for more tutorials and tips and tricks and shred everything, vlogs, all the stuff, you know. And yeah, I'd appreciate your feedback. If you guys want to see some different tricks and tips, let me know in the comments. And until then, see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oops, that's the mic. Peace.